Hello, everybody. This is Jacob Sapochnik, the Enchanting Lawyer podcast. And today I'm going to be doing something a bit different. Instead of interviewing the guest, I have a guest that interviewed me. I was interviewed at the end of the year by John Assaraf. And John Assaraf invited me to speak at his Cloning of Business Success event that took place just at the end of the year, the end of 2014. An event that had business owners from all over the world joining in San Diego, learning about different strategies to grow the business, to make better connections, and to learn from each other. So I was fortunate enough to be invited to speak at this event, organized by John Assaraf. And before the event, he interviewed me briefly, asked me some questions about my practice, how I've built my practice, and I thought it will be interesting to share that interview with you. For those of you who are not familiar with John, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's a brain researcher and the CEO of Praxis Now, a brain research company that creates some of the most powerful evidence-based brain retraining tools and programs in the world. In the past 25 years, John has grown 5 multi-million-dollar companies in real estate, internet software, research, and live business consulting. He is an author of 2 New York Times best-selling books, and he was featured in the movie The Secret. And he is also very active in the entrepreneurial community, trying to help businesses find the secret to business growth. And so working with him and learning from him is just an amazing experience. And I hope you find it very interesting and get some nuggets from the chat that we had. So without further ado, listen to my interview with John Assaraf.
Hey everyone, this is John Assaraf, and with me is a special friend and just an amazing entrepreneur, Jacob Sapochnik, and he's got just a world-class immigration law firm that works with athletes, with tech companies, with startups, and not only has got a phenomenal law firm in San Diego, but he has managed to utilize some off-the-charts smart social media techniques to be able to drive incredible amounts of leads and revenues to his law firm. And he's one of the few that has really been able to make the transition from being a lawyer to being a business owner that knows how to build a community, to build an enormous lead flow of amazing prospects. And more importantly, he understands the conversion process of turning leads into customers. So, Jacob, thank you for doing this, and I look forward to having you as a speaker at our upcoming Cloning of Business Success event, so you can share, how you turned your, small law firm into a powerhouse here in San Diego. So thanks for doing this, Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show and on this interview. I'm excited about the event as well.
Awesome. So, Jacob, maybe we can talk a little bit about why did you choose social media to drive, leads and branding and prospects to your business, where most law firms are, still advertising in yellow pages or putting these billboards up. Why social media?
So, it's a good question, and this is something that I often talk when I go to conferences and I do speaking engagements with attorneys. And, I tell them the simple thing, a law firm is just like any other business. We are a service business. So I could be an accountant, I could be a psychologist, we are a service business. And I realized when I started, and, we're talking today, this is our actually a 10-year anniversary today for the law firm. And when I started, I felt that I'm powerless. I can't compete against all these other businesses. I can't spend $3,000 to be in a yellow page, a small ad. I can't do any of that. So I felt that what's the point of having my own business? Might as well work for somebody else. But I couldn't, because deep inside I am an entrepreneur. I like to do things my own way. And so what I started to do initially before Facebook came out, I started doing blogging. Blogging was my first way to get information out there. And the reason I started doing it is because I realized that by starting a blog, I'm able to connect with other people online and share my information. And I felt that, if I can't afford to pay for Yellow Pages, I might as well be somewhere online, and blogging was the first thing I've done. And what happened is that when I started doing my blog, is that within a few months, I was getting an amazing response. People started asking me questions. I got my first Fox TV interview within 6 months of starting my law firm. They called me and said, "Jacob, can you come come to the studio? We have questions about citizenship." And I thought they were mixing my name with somebody else. I'm like, "Are you sure you want to talk to me?" And they said, "How did you find me?" And we found you because we read your article on your blog.
Yep.
And I realized that it was the beginning of something very interesting, because I didn't spend any money on this. I mean, I just started my blog, $100, and then suddenly I'm getting, I'm getting on TV. And even today, if you look at my website, we have so many appearances on TV, on KPBS, on NPR. I was on PC Magazine, 2 years into my practice, and some of the other attorneys who've been doing this for 30 years, they call me and say, "Well, why are they calling you? I mean, you're you're out of law school." And I realized that giving away that information, using my blog, was the first beginning of social media, which is the communication. Now, when Facebook came out, I didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I had my personal page, but I realized that Facebook is another way to communicate with other people. So I started giving away, free advice. I was giving away, just sharing information about our office. We started building a community. And I think the key, John, is community building is the power of small business, and not just small business, any business. If you give away information for free, you become a powerhouse of information, a hub for people to come visit. This is where the power is, because it's marketing that they'll pay for it. It's marketing so useful that people will come to you because they feel you're giving so much value that they want to hire you on the spot. And this is really what happened. Once I started using Facebook and YouTube videos to give away concepts and education, people are calling the office and says, "Where do we sign?" They didn't even argue about the price. And even today it happens, and we'll talk about it, in this chat. But I mean, I was alone sitting in the office the first year, and I started using my blog. I had to hire people within the end of my first year, because I couldn't keep up with demand. People wanted to call us and work with us because they thought I became an authority. And that's what blogging and social media allowed me to do even today. Make myself a brand and an authority.
I love that. And right now, your blog, how many followers do you have on your blog and your podcast and Facebook? So what are some of the results that you've achieved by using a properly thought out and executed, social media strategy? Give us some of the numbers so people can understand how powerful this is done well.
So basically, we built one of the largest Facebook communities in the world for attorneys. We have about 115,000 fans that come on the page. And what happens, those are people that come because they feel that we provide value. So, I put inspirational quotes, I put not just legal stuff. And I'll give you an example. We get at least, on a daily basis, at least between 7 to 12 leads that we convert from that page alone. And that's huge, because this is not something that we spend money on. This is people that come to the page. And then what happens from those direct leads, we also get at least 12 to 15 indirect leads that are referrals from people that come on our page, just from Facebook. I'll give you an example. We had a case where somebody was following me for about 4 months, commenting, making questions, and nothing happened. And then one day, I get a referral for an asylum case. It's 5 people. Each case was about $10,000, $50,000 worth of business just from that one follower, that we didn't have to do anything to get them, just be nice to them and engage.
And these followers, these were attorneys that were following you, or was it?
So these are potential clients. We have also attorneys on the page that just to see what we do, but these are potential customers. So it's when I say one of the largest legal communities, it's one of the largest Facebook pages for lawyers. Most lawyers have about 5,000, 10,000 maybe fans.
I got it.
And they don't do nothing with it.
It's not for lawyers, but
no.
lawyers
It's
in
for
the world.
our law firm that has a page for. We build our community.
Got it.
And so we convert almost on a daily basis between 7 to 12 leads just on that page.
And what's each client worth to you on average?
So I'll tell you, typically, like I said, that asylum case was on the higher end, so it's about 10,000 per client. But the typical leads there, usually people want to do citizenship, maybe they want to do marriage cases. Anywhere from between 2,000, 2,500 a piece, which is huge, because this is like free marketing. We never, if you have to pay for Yellow Pages, Now, from the blogging itself, we have a community of about 25,000 email subscribers that come on the site on the blog, and they get our articles, and they those are hot leads because they convert, they send their friends and referrals. But I can tell you that one of the most powerful things that happen from our social media, especially on Twitter, is that I have a lot of reporters that follow me. And I give an example in one of my talks where I was at a wedding and I got a tweet from a reporter that says, Jacob, can we interview you tonight? And I said, well, I'm at a wedding. So, well, we'll come to you. So they came to the wedding. It was in La Jolla. And I had to step out. We did the interview 10, 15 minutes, and it was on the 11 p.m. news. Now, because of that news interview, the next day, we got at least 2 new clients that saw the interview and they saw the value of me coming on the show, that they signed up right away. And just me spending 10 minutes on interviewing somebody, we made about $15,000 from just my willingness to be open with reporters.
Love it.
So these are very important things that they're very powerful because you provide value for free, but then you build a community of people that want to hire you almost on a daily basis. You don't have to pay Google Ads to get the client right away. These are people that you nurture over time, and then they keep coming to you. I call this the faucet marketing system because when I want more clients, we just do more outreach. We build a free app, a citizenship app, teaching people about the citizenship questions. It's got nothing to do with immigration law per se. I'm just telling them about the test. I'm not teaching people how to prepare for the test. That's not my business. But because I provided a useful tool for them to learn, eventually they'll trust me and they'll come back to me as their attorney because I gave them a free tool. So we call this marketing so useful that people will actually pay for it. There's a marketer called Jay Baer, and he wrote the book Utility, and he advocates that concept of being so useful that people will come to you pretty much 24/7 because you're so valuable to them. You're not just marketing, you're not trying to sell.
Right.
And that's the premise of my business.
Yeah, and that's becoming the authority, the expert, the go-to, individual. You just build the trust, the rapport, the integrity, and then they follow you. You also have a great podcast that has got an amazing amount of followers, and you interviewed me for that, and you did a phenomenal job with that, and that's why you've got that great setup in your office. You'd think you're a broadcaster, not a lawyer. Tell us a bit about your podcast and how well that does.
Right. So, one of the things that we started talking about building the platform, YouTube and Facebook and blogging. And I tell people that the reason I'm doing this is because if you build yourself a hub and you have all these outlets, the blogging, the Facebook, there's never going to be a shortage of clients because you're always going to be somewhere. You're going to be everywhere. People are going to find you. And the reason I started the podcast, first of all, I did it for 2 reasons. One reason is because iTunes is a huge search engine. If you're not on iTunes, you're missing out on 50 million people that are on iTunes searching for different things. So that's why I wanted to be on iTunes so people can find me, which is another outlet. But the other reason I like podcasting is because it allows you to create connections with people. I connected with you. We built a relationship. I connected with James Altucher, people like Michael Gerber, the author of The E-Myth. I would never be able to speak to these people if I didn't have a podcast. And in this podcast, I give them an outlet to speak about their business, about what they do. And building relationship using podcasting is a huge tool that business owners should be doing. And I'm talking about that also at your conference, because podcasting allows people to connect with you on an individual basis. They can listen to you in their ears. You're able to build followers. People who listen to my show are different than the people who read my blog because they email me and say, Jacob, you changed my life. I listened to your show. I was going to close my law firm, but then you give us some tips about motivation that you shouldn't give up or you can do something to change. And I stuck with it and I did it. And I had a former prosecutor that emailed me and said, you know what, I quit my job. I couldn't do it anymore. And I listened to your show and I follow you for the past 6 months and I use your tips. And now I have a law firm that is working. And that makes me feel so good because I don't know these people, but now I know that they're listening to me.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like about podcasting because it's such a huge tool, and it's gonna get even bigger because people are gonna have those things in their cars next year. Cars are gonna have those players, so you can be driving from work and listening to my podcast, to your show, to anybody. So if you're not doing podcasting, you're definitely missing the boat. And we'll talk about how they should do it and why they should be doing it, the different tricks.
Love it. So as a result of using social media really, really well, I know the answer to this, but how many lawyers do you have working with you now?
So we have a firm of about 20 people here. So we have about 8 full-time attorneys. I have about 16 paralegals, and we have 2 people who are working in the East Coast, and a social media person and another legal person. And we're going to start, and actually this month, we're going to be announcing a partnership with a law firm in Israel that are interested to work with us because there's a lot of, as you know, the high-tech business, the startups is huge over there. They want to be able to work with an American law firm. They chose us to be their partners, so that's huge. So we're going to be pretty much almost doubling in size. We're joining with these guys.
I love that.
So, and if you think about it, John, this is something that there's no way I could have done that if I wasn't be able to use the tools. I mean, I know people that started with me, many good lawyers, and I'm not saying that we are the best lawyers. In fact, I don't think that we are the best lawyers. I think what we do well, and I tell my staff all the time, you don't have to be the best lawyer. You have to be somebody that cares about the client, passionate. If somebody's, we had a case where we failed, we lost the case. You should have seen the client come to my office, hug me, and give me flowers, say, Jacob, I don't care if you failed. You stayed with me, and you care about me today. And that's what they want, because they don't want somebody to win their case. They want somebody to care, hold their hand, and be compassionate. And to me, this is the future of legal business. If you don't care about your clients, you're not going to stay in this business.
Totally agree with you. So when people come to the Cloning and Business Success event, what let's say 2 or 3 things are you going to make sure they leave there with and after you teach them?
Absolutely. So the number one thing that I'm going to talk about is the importance of building yourself a platform, a hub, in the sense that you can't be in business today without having a platform. The platform is an audience that is yours to communicate. Whether it's an email list that you have that you send them an email every week or every month, whether it's a Facebook community that you want to learn how to build, whether it's a YouTube channel that you want to be reaching, or whether it's basically you spending time on Twitter nurturing relationships with people and doing it on a systematic way. I'm going to be teaching how to do that because if you don't have a platform these days, you have nothing. There's no way you're going to keep spending your money in advertising where people come to you one day and they forget about you the next day. The only way to succeed in business in 2015 is to build yourself a platform. That's one thing. The second thing we're going to talk about is the funnel of how do we do that? How do we do the funnel? How do we nurture? How do we get the sales converting from that? There's no point to building any of that if you cannot convert it into paying clients. And another thing I'm going to be talking about is the value and the importance of marketing that is useful. Why would you be doing marketing from the back door, we call this? So people today are selling. They're selling it with ads, with Google ads, with banner ads, with Facebook ads. What about think about doing marketing from the back door? Creating a useful tool about content or video that helps people for no reason, just by helping. If you do this in a systematic way, I can guarantee you that the business is going to triple, quadruple, and explode. You won't have and that's what happened to us. I mean, we have so many clients that come to our office that we have to be selective now because we can't help everybody, and it's because of our being useful, and that's what we're going to talk about: the usefulness marketing.
I love it. Well, everybody, here's what I can share with you is Jacob is brilliant at what he does, not just as a lawyer and building his law firm. How he takes care of his clients and how he nurtures, prospects by giving is really amazing. And that's really the new, era of marketing, the new era of sales. And at the Cloning Business Success, you're going to have a chance to meet him firsthand and learn exactly what he's doing, how he's doing it, and it'll help you double or triple your income when you apply what he teaches you in addition to the rest of the stuff that we'll teach you. So, Jacob, thank you so much. Always great to talk with you, and I look forward to seeing you very, very shortly.
Absolutely. We'll see you in December. Thank you, John.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye now.